Paris, run to the St. Real. Sorry, not sorry, ain't it funny? Herb Lee on the track, license to ill. Advise opinions may be, but facts ain't lies. It's gold medal mentality. Watch the sunrise, one of one and checking in. Silver sitting pretty, still means second best in the world. Get witty, face down opponents, pressure cooking hot. Get my sweat, my focus, everything I got. TJ Bronze, TJ holding down the beyond. Still on the stage, he's up for the Giants. Turn a new page, learn the discipline, focus, respect for the fight. My fight ain't lies. Gold medal mentality. Watch the sunrise, one of one and reality. Silver sitting pretty, still means second best in the world. Get witty, face down opponents, pressure cooking hot. Get my sweat, my focus, everything. Don't walk on eggshells thin. If your feelings get bruised, let the whining begin. But don't wait for apologies. Don't hold your breath, son. We're sorry.
Back to the Warehouse 15. We are coming direct to you from Motel 8, where everything is $16 a night. $16 a night for a bed, $4 for breakfast, and the minimum wage is $1.50. We are here with the Grandmaster of Disaster and with Coach Juan Moreno. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing great. We've had a long couple of weeks. I've been here in North Carolina with Coach Jennings. We'll get into that a little bit, but yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm not actually at the Motel 8, but pretty darn close. And, and it's been I'm gonna just say interesting. Some of the things you've been talking about, Coach Perez, is kind of coming true.
Kind of true. Kind of true. I've been,
between my Uber rides in this place, I don't know, bro.
I went to Ohio once and I stayed at a Motel 8 and they broke into my room and stole my passport. So yeah, I that was back when I was poorer than I am now. How you doing, Bronze TJ?
I'm chilling. Just having, like I said, it's been a long week here. We did the Grand Prix Challenge, and then a lot of the guys stayed over and been at this my gym for our training camp. A lot of good exchanging. Definitely one of the hottest places on earth with that many people in the room, but definitely some good work. But I'm good. How about you?
Well, it's good. Well, I'm here. I was in Tennessee, and Tennessee is apparently the epicenter for thunderstorms and rain. And so my son's last game got canceled. But what a great soccer tournament it was, and watch some of the best in the country at this age could train and compete. And it just makes you wonder, how does a 17-year-old kid in Manchester get a $172 million contract, and our poor kids in the States here can't get a plane ticket or a bus ticket? But that's another story. But Tennessee was nice. I was hoping to get to North Carolina, but the Greyhound bus schedule was completely full.
You lied to me. I just realized you lied to me.
I was trying to get on that Greyhound, but I got down to the station and there was a rush to get to North Carolina for dentists and things of that nature. So, but we're back.
No. Listen, I went to the little 7-Eleven or whatever it is right outside my hotel. No offense, but that lady had like 4 teeth and 2 were in her pocket. I was just like, damn it.
It's true. It's true.
It ain't true. I don't know where y'all hanging out at.
Well, I don't know.
I swear, bro.
I gave Coach Moreno a bunch of hotels, and they decided to stay somewhere different. So that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story. But let's talk, man. Let's get.
But is it true? Is it true that there is not a Motel 8, that it's a Motel 4 in North Carolina? Is that true? They can't afford a Motel 8. Well, I can see in the background that's a high quality establishment you're in.
Well, this is my office. This is my office.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Coach Moreno.
Oh, I'm about to say
you look like you're in a holding cell for ICE, but that's a different story. And you're wearing that Jamaican T-shirt. You better have your passport.
This is a gift from my guy,
dude.
Tony. Appreciate you.
If you're walking around North Carolina, do yourself a favor and keep your passport. Because if you're wearing that shirt, no sleeves, and that haircut, you're going to be on a plane to El Salvador. I don't want to watch you in the Human Centipede.
Not talking about haircut. That's a crazy statement, but I digress. I'm gonna let it go.
Look at that. Look at you. Don't be jelly, man. This is 65 years. This bad boy's still been growing. Look at this.
That boy got some locks of hair.
Goldilocks. All right, let's get on. I know we got a lot to talk about today. I heard there was some sort of small tournament event somewhere.
I got to start with this because I'm young at the Grand Prix Challenge. It was the first Grand Prix Challenge of the year. It was in Charlotte, North Carolina, downtown at the convention center. It was so funny. Like, the first question I got was people like, No podcast this week. No podcast this
Oh,
week because, bro, I'm telling you, people, especially the Canadians, they love it. They're like, and then even here at this training camp, we'll talk about this later. A couple of the coaches like, no podcast, no podcast. I listen to it every Friday. It was so fun to hear. I had some guy come up to me. I think he talked to you too, TJ, and he was like, "Listen, I want to introduce." He was kind of like looking at me throughout the day. It was kind of, I was like, "Oh, do I know this guy?" Then he sat down next to me and he's like, "Hey, I just want to tell you, listen to your guys' podcast. We love it. Had some issues with certain people, blah blah blah." It was just kind of cool to meet somebody that I didn't particularly know and that's listened to us. So again, it's been overwhelmingly positive. People keep telling me at least that we're saying what they're thinking, or they're saying what parents are feeling, and so yeah, I think we're doing the right thing, guys. I think we're on the right path. So
Well,
I
I'm
thought that
glad.
was just
I'm
kind of
glad.
cool.
I love my Canadian brothers, some of the toughest fighters in the world. Just amazing individuals, and I'm glad that people are enjoying the
TJ's half
musings of
Canadian.
history. I which half? The sleeves or no sleeves?
definitely the no sleeves.
Are you half Canadian?
No, my
Yeah.
wife's
Oh,
Canadian.
okay.
Yes.
Oh, your
Yeah, my
wife's
wife.
Canadian.
Yeah.
So he's half.
That's
Probably
half.
half
That makes
Canadian.
you half. Yeah. You're
Probably like
absorbing. You're
70%.
absorbing.
Nah, but
70, 75. 75.
No, but truthfully, from a Taekwondo standpoint, TJ has a connection because of through his wife, and we have a peak connection through Coach Park. So we've always had a pretty nice, I don't know, what do you call it, like a working relationship with the Canadian Taekwondo people, right, TJ? I mean, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I hang out with them all the time. I mean, like when
Yeah,
she was on the
Coach
national team,
Carlo.
so yeah, most of the time I spent with them hanging out and kind of traveling the world, and they've always been super helpful and super friendly, allowing me to kind of be with the team and be a part of their training camps and their stuff. So yeah, they're good people, good guys.
Well, I'm glad they've taken you in. It's important to be taken in when you're a little bit homeless, and I'm proud
The Lost
and
Boys.
happy. Well, I'm happy that you have a place to go in case it doesn't work out here. Jamaica, man. Were you on that bobsled team? But anyway, let's talk about the event a little bit.
Oh, young. So this was like, I don't know, me and you kind of got into. We talked about because Dr. Kapner mentioned something, but I got to take you back to the first day, young. The first day. In the morning session, there was like 16 points scored out of all the matches. Like everything was like weird. Everyone's like, "What's going on?" People are, hitting hard, the normal stuff, and nothing's going up. If matches are 1-0 with a deduction, they weren't scoring punch. Oh, we got to talk about that punch thing too, TJ. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so there was no points. So I run into a guy, and I'm actually Herb. I run into a guy, and he pulls me. I said, "What's going on, man? The system, the Gen 3 is going." And he's like, supposedly they put it up. Dado put it up 30% of what it was supposed to be, and supposedly it was they made that call on their own. Some guy was like, "Oh, I don't like the way it looks," so they put it up, and I guess the WT people were like, "What?" And so then they said, "Okay, we're gonna put it back." So they put it back. So in the afternoon session, the first people come out 30 to 28, 40 to 36. All of a
1
sudden, it's
billion
just
points.
1 bill. It was like 1,800 points went up in the 1 billion points.
1 billion.
It was like a video game. It was unbelievable. Nobody knew what was going on. Then there was phantom points. I literally was sending the technical director. I must have sent 15 videos of things that go like this, and there'd be 5 points, or things that go like this, and there'd be 4 points. It was just you didn't even know. The athletes didn't know what to do, how to stand, how to kick. Like it was beyond crazy. I mean,
Oh,
am I
so
right, TJ?
but that's the problem. Where do you, as an athlete, let's forget about the game for a second.
Yeah.
As a country who sends athletes, spends and invests thousands of dollars, brings staff, brings technical directors. In the USA's case, they travel from Oklahoma and bring a camera, one of those point and flashes that you can get from 7-Eleven, or as they call it in North Carolina, 3 1/4. They bring these guys and they come, and then they get an event where their athletes can't perform or do perform and aren't rewarded, or in the alternative, don't know what to do. So, I mean, that speaks volumes about the organization, but more importantly, the sport. But TJ, I didn't mean to step on you.
No worries. No, I mean, yeah, it was a big change from the morning to the afternoon. It's almost unbearable. You're watching it go from, I don't know which I prefer, the morning or the afternoon, because once it started, it just was like nonstop. And they had the speakers up so high, so
Oh,
every time
this
they would
is
score, it was like,
crazy.
and like sometimes you would hear like it go off 12 times in a row across the three rings. You know, I thought that was too loud. I mean, especially in
Yeah.
crucial moments, maybe you think you kick and you score and it's from the ring next to you.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was insane. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't. I guess my question is, if that was the case and they don't made that decision on their own, like, how do you continue to move forward and work with them? Where like the integrity has to be lost, correct?
Well, two things I'm going to say. Like number one, okay, if they screwed up and they put it up to 30%, they should have left it like that the whole day because the people that fought in the morning fought under different circumstances than the others. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't
Like
think
I
they
know
should
they
have
would
told
never do
anybody.
it. Yeah, I know they would
Well,
never do it,
that's
but for me, they got to replay those matches in the morning. Like the
I
problem is
mean,
everybody has all their national teams there, and some of them won, some
yeah.
of them lost, so they're not going to go back and run them again. But that's just it's
Well,
crazy.
yeah.
at the very least, you got to leave the playing field what it is. So, like,
Well, that's what I thought.
yeah, in soccer, they get a referee and they put him in the middle, and he's there for 90 minutes. They change the referee in the next game, but they don't change the referee in the half.
No,
They don't because it's
nowhere
got to
does
be
it.
the same. You got to know what your standard is. Now, I mean, we'll talk about the blame game in a minute, but here's a better question, or a good question, at least not better, is in the morning when they pushed it up and there were only 16 points made, were the points valid points or were they mystery points? Were they based on you needed more
Both.
power? So
I
was it
mean,
a
it
power
was a little bit
thing?
of both. You know, to TJ's credit a couple of seconds ago, like, yeah, I don't know which one I liked better. I mean, listen, if it's hard to score, it's hard to score. Then you can kind of take more chances. But like, nobody knew what was going on. It was just so weird. We couldn't figure it out. And then all of a sudden, in the afternoon, it just all of a sudden, literally, they say go, it goes. You just hear, like TJ said, it was fire. People were like what? And people were laughing in the stands because athletes are looking around and for me, TJ, you asked the question, how can you work with them ethically? You can't work with them. I mean, first of all, their product doesn't work. Second of all, I mean, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. We're on generation 3, and it's gotten worse and worse and worse. I mean, I I haven't met any person that says I like Gen 3. I haven't met any person go, please give it to me. Like nobody. So I mean, because KPMP, you can have a debate, but no one is telling me this is the system. This is what we need to go with. So, number one, they did it on their own. They changed it in the middle of the day or the middle of a term without notifying the WT people. That's unethical. Two, your product is not working. I I've heard through the grapevine that they're going to give them a finite time to fix this. Whether it's a month or 2 months, and they're going to make a decision and to pull it
But
or
fix
not pull it
what?
because
I guess my question is
Oh,
fix what?
you're right. No, listen, TJ, I agree with you. There's two systems right now. There's KPMP and this Weight Champ that both work fine. And when going into a world championship, we can't play on that system. We can't fight on
No.
that system. It,
No,
it, it,
it's just disheartening. Like, and again, I know that in the afternoon the points start going crazy, but I'm watching matches where one guy's dominated the whole round and controlled it to the point where it's like they're up 5-0, which is not big in our sport anymore. And I understand that. But because of the sensitivity of the chess card, like you see someone throw a whiffle of a back kick and it like misses the body, and now this person technically has an advantage and they're leading with no time left. So that's the
yeah.
problem. You can't. That I saw a lot of that type of stuff, and people were just. I remember one tournament or back before it was just the whole let's get close game, and it was a lot of that. I mean, I'm watching stuff this way, this way, this way, that way, and it's going crazy, you know.
So
Um,
her for us, like for the coaches, like they would be think it was so difficult to keep track of all the scores because there'd be an exchange and like I said, 5 points would go up. We were having a card to say technical error with phantom points because things were just flying past people and 4 points would be up or 5 points and it's 10-2 and all of a sudden it's 11-10 the other guy. Like you don't even know what to ask the ref it was really really bad. Um, I will say this. I mean, and I don't even want to. I shouldn't even say this because I'm making an excuse here. One of the things I talked to our Brazilian athletes, I said it's very hard um, to judge your performance because the system was so different. I will say the people that won, the Alessio from Italy, he won men's heavy. CJ won, 80. We can talk about that in a second. These two girls that I saw, three from Spain, from Chinese Taipei, from Brazil. All these people they were fighting under the same situations, the same dynamics, the same sensitivity, and they found a way to win. that's kind of like maybe they're outliers. It doesn't really. Um, I don't want to, like I said, give these guys an excuse because Herb, like if you got two world class people, there's no way on a normal system, TJ, you know this, that someone's getting point gap in 2 rounds. I
In a
mean, someone
finals
can
too.
in a finals, no way.
Yeah.
It was like it was ridiculous. I mean, these people are two good quality fighters, and one guy's getting beat by 15. Like it's
Who
just
was
like
it? Who was
this.
it? Who was it?
No, it happened a lot. I mean, it
Oh,
Yeah, it
happened a
was a
lot.
few times.
Yeah, not just like there was people in the finals. Like these two guys are fighting amazing all day, and all of a sudden points are just going up weird. And the guys are looking around like,
what's
what can
up?
I
Yeah.
do?
Yeah, I mean, but as a fighter, you guys know you go in and before you go, you prepare. You
Yeah,
visualize what you're going to do. You do your game. And in most cases, the only adjustment we had to make, at least you and I, was to the referee that was in the ring. So you could tell what the referee was scoring or the judges were scoring. At the end of the round, you'd look at the scoreboard and figure out what worked, what didn't work. Now you have a situation where the athletes are trying to adjust to an electronic system, which takes a few minutes. And then that's the reason that you don't change it midstream, because they can look at matches and see what's working and then adjust after for their next match. Their first match, they're kind of at a disadvantage, especially when it's happening like, you know, in the moment, right? So,
so it's funny. They're talking about like some guy, a Canadian guy, took the socks and he put them like this, and it's like it picked it up. The magnets were so strong. There's more magnets in this new Gen 3 sock, but they're so strong that you can hold them together and they stick. I mean,
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
really?
crazy. So
The Gen 2 socks, the Gen 1 socks never did that because they're always in the same
yep.
bag. They fall out and everything. I watch Mark kind of go like this, and it picks up the other socks. So I don't know if it was a oversight. I don't know if they changed the manufacturers they work with to get the magnets or what case. So not only did they add more magnets, they added stronger magnets. I don't know. I
Yes.
mean, and again, I don't know if that's an oversight or an accident, but that has to do with the way that the Hogus were scoring. I mean, it was crazy. If you would have seen it, I mean, there's kicks like this far out and they're scoring. And every now and then it'll show its face. But this was the entire rest of the tournament after the morning session on the first day. It was nuts.
Yep.
So what's the solution? If it's not, this is
Me
who
personally,
is this? Is this Dato? Who is this?
yeah,
True Score?
Dado, yeah.
Dado.
I
Dado.
don't know, man. It's wonky, dude. It's just wonky. Me personally, I would go with one system. I don't care. I don't like the double system. I don't like changing system. I don't like adjusting. Just give everybody one system and go from there. Period. Point blank and simple. And I think that'll keep. I think at least it'll keep it fair, or fair or consistent,
You
or
know,
whatever you want to call it.
And TJ, I'm on the opposite end of that spectrum. I mean, I believe in the competitive, but I'm going to go with you on this one. Until they get this shit figured out, they got to have one system, just one system, so it's even across the board. And if another system can come and basically be the same system, but from another company, then we're okay. For example, I got a basketball, right? I can have a Spalding basketball or a Wilson basketball. It's the same freaking ball. We have a little different texture, but it bounces the same. It's the same measurements. That's not, we can't say that in Taekwondo. So,
Yeah.
and I know I've used the things like, well, in tennis you have different things, you have grass courts and clay courts and in hard courts, but we're not that kind of, we're not a ball sport, right? We're a combative sport. That would be like asking boxers to say, you have this kind of glove or this kind of ring or this kind of shape or, no, you wouldn't do that. So I agree with you. We probably should just go down to one and make that shit work right because it doesn't. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
because it's just like because the electron, you hit it the same time 10 times, and 6 out of those times it'll score, and the other 4 won't score. You hit it in the same spot, same speed, same pressure, everything. So it's always a little unpredictable. So it makes it even more unpredictable for me in my brain when you add, we're gonna fight this system here, we're gonna fight that system there. And I think
The sock is different. The sock is
even
different.
that, yeah, I think from a, I guess, community, bringing everyone together and making it a system that potentially at some point everyone can afford, like the South American countries and all these people, it should be one. Because you come out with Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, this, no one's keeping up with that shit. That's
And they
impossible.
It's impossible. And from a financial standpoint, it's impossible. I mean, like you said, South American countries, African countries, some of the East Asian countries can't do it either. Heck, Americans, I mean, it's expensive stuff. The socks are $110, young.
For the
110 bucks
socks?
and they
But it's
for the
not.
socks. Just for a kid that's gonna outgrow them, they rip, the magnets move. I mean, again, I know hockey and other sports are expensive, but $110 for Taekwondo socks that
How
you're just
much were
going to
the Gen
go through.
2s? They weren't 110, were they?
I don't remember.
Yeah, but
I
110 is
got a
crazy.
question. I got a technical question because remember when we went from Gen 1 to Gen 2, sometimes you'd be fighting on Gen 1 system and people said you can't use Gen 2 socks because they score too much. So Gen 3 socks, people that bought them, what happens if I go to the next tournament? I'm wearing Gen 3 socks that have more magnets, stronger magnets, fighting on a Gen 2 system at a domestic tournament.
They made me take it off. One of my kids one of my kids ended up with a pair of Gen 3 socks. And we got to the competition, they made her take them off. They wouldn't let her wear
Okay.
the Gen 3 with the Gen 2.
So they shouldn't. I mean, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
With those things, for sure, you will want to. Yeah, for sure. In comparison to the other
100
person
points.
wearing Gen 2, you would score again 1 billion points compared to them.
So TJ, what did you think? I mean, the tournament was a mess. I mean, obviously the results were pretty interesting. I mean, at Korea had a couple medals. Um, Italy had a couple medals. Spain had a couple medals. Kazakhstan had a couple medals. United States had 3 medals. I mean, listen, CJ was good. I mean, he fought strong. He had big leads early. His final was close with the Korean guy. I think on regular Hogus is a different fight, but um, he was good. I mean, I have to say, like he watched the first day and he made some adjustments. He fought from a lot longer, used a lot of different angles. Relied on his big kicks. His 4-point kicks and stuff. So
And
I mean, I
double
can't
kick
take it.
stuff was a lot of double kick stuff was almost great in this situation because we were talking about like once it opens and you're putting 2 and 3 together before the person's putting their foot down, like it'll score. On that system, you're gonna score every single time almost. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
think he fought great. I mean, and he fought great and he fought some people and he kind of showed a difference between those people. Like you said, the final was close, but still he's scoring and pushing the action. I mean, he definitely did a great job on
Well,
Saturday,
I'd
was it?
say the first match of the day, he fought this Russian kid, and this Russian kid came out 8-0. I'm like, because these guys know how to score. The problem was that system was so light, like you said, TJ. It let people back in the match, and then CJ's physicality kind of overran the kid. But the kid was, I mean, I would be really interested to watch that match on KPMP. But again, we can say that about a lot of things. But I mean, I can throw some critiques out there, and I can give credit where credit's due. And CJ was good. He fought well. The other 2 Americans, Christina Ticho, she made weight, which I was really shocked. And she gutted through some matches that she lost the first rounds, and somehow she got through, and she ended up losing in the semifinal. And got a bronze medal. She because they fought for this one, Young. If you got to the semifinal, the 2 semifinal losers had to fight off for the bronze. So
Uh,
she came back and had a close match, and she same thing, very tight, 3 rounds, and beat the Croatian girl. So that was good for her. And Faith Dillon, the 57 girl, she lost to our girl from Brazil in the semifinal. Our girl won gold medal on the first day, but Faith was pretty solid. I think uh, she had a
She's
good
always
event,
for
and
me. She's
so.
always well put together. She goes out and she kind of puts the game together and does what she has to do most of the time. So she definitely had a good day as
And
well.
I think she's probably one of the few athletes that are very even keeled. Like she doesn't have too many highs and too many lows. I mean, she's pretty solid. Even when she loses, you don't see her lose by a lot. You don't see her getting overwhelmed too much. It's just the female scored more points. Where with CJ and Christina, you see some big dips and valleys, some greatness, but some other things that were weird. But Young, there was this Russian little girl 49 kilos. 49 kilos. So let's just say height equivalency. Let's say I'm an average 49 kilos. This girl, I'm not lying, was this little. And at
mm,
every match, she was like this much shorter people, but she was like, she could defend. She could kick. She was side kicking these chicks in the face. Like nobody understood what she was doing. And for a little person, she could get her leg over their leg with a front leg axe kick. Normally, what happens is when people throw that front leg axe kick, someone picks their leg up underneath it in defense, and it usually knocks the smaller person over. You get a deduction. The other person gets a point. No, she was so strong. Like she would get there, she could keep her balance. She lost a close semifinal fight and then ended up getting a bronze. But she was awesome to watch. It was like a win for the small people. It was pretty
yeah.
pretty impressive. Pretty
I think
impressive.
I think that's always. There was a kid out of Korea. His name was Hamjun, and he had one tournament. I think he went to the. He was from Chede, and I remember watching him train, and he was tiny. I mean, he was compared to the, Myung Shik and those guys, Myung Shik and these guys were all like your size, almost 6 foot. This kid had to be 5'2", 5'3", but he was such a unique athlete in that he understood how to use his smallness, his compactness, first of all, for low center of gravity. Second of all, for understanding how to get under people. And third, for just being, to be honest, smaller people are just faster. Like they have less distance to travel from their leg to the target. They're just faster, and their twitch is usually better depending on the smaller athletes. So I always like to watch those games because, I was a smaller middleweight. I wasn't a tall middleweight, and I was fighting gigantic, 7 foot, 6'3", 6'5"
Chinese
guys.
Taipei showed up with a lot of little heavyweights. Did you see that? I know the one kid went
Yeah.
from 68 to 80, and now he's plus 80, but both of them were little.
Oh,
Well,
really?
that dude was 58 at one point, early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they got this kid
That
that
was
went from
weird.
58 to 68 to under 80, and now he's fighting heavyweight. But like, it's cool, it's interesting. But the other guy that was with him was damn near the same height. It was
Yeah.
kind of a strange thing.
And then their little people were tall and skinny.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. And I got a question before we go. What do you think about this new Gamjan thing? This one where if you get to the ring late, they give you a Gamjan, and now, like, isn't that just silly? Like, aren't we going
Yo.
too far at this point?
Young. So they made this new rule that, like, if you're not in the ring when the time ends, then they can give you a Kamjan. First of all, it's subjective because they only gave one. All right. But it's kind of like, listen, I kind of get it if people are sitting in the chair for extra 20, 30 seconds. But like, think about time breaks. You got to walk to your corner and sit down. I'm going to say it takes 2 seconds, 3 seconds. All right. And I think we should get not me, the athletes should get the whole minute. And they should have to get up and go out. But they're saying 10 seconds before they're going chung hung, making them come out. And if you're not fast enough, they give you a deduction. The other
And they
person gets a
decide
point.
that you're not fast enough. Because I've seen some people that come out a little late. The referee just turned around one time, turned around again, and there was no problem. Then you see someone give them a Gamjan. And I guess it didn't dawn on me until later. I think I was talking about it, Coach. Like, that's a big thing with this 5 Gamjan per round rule. Now you're starting the round with 4 to give, and for what? Because I was a little late? Like that?
Well,
That's
think
crazy.
about the culture where it's coming from. So, I've talked about this before. One of the biggest problems culturally in Taekwondo is that it comes from a place of Korean culture. Korean culture has never been on rewarding. It's been on punishing. So when you look at the games they play and everything else, they spend a whole lot of time designing systems and point scoring for negative behavior. So they don't figure out how to score points. They're teaching the referees everything they don't want them to do. They think the difference to fixing something is to spend time on what's not working. So you give warnings for falling, warnings for grabbing, warnings for being late to the ring. I mean, is this really the biggest problem in Taekwondo? And
Right.
I've talked about this in basketball. Basketball, when you want to see better behavior, you reward it. You want to see less people under the basket, you create the 3-point. That's it. You want to see better action, you reward that. And that's how we came to the multi-tiered scoring. But it's good to see that the culture still prevails, because obviously the most important thing in Taekwondo is how your uniform fits, if you get to the ring on time, if you bow properly, and if you understand how to act, right? Not
That's
how
something
you
too.
kick.
I know you're being mocking
Yeah.
in a little bit, but like the belt,
Yeah.
nowadays your belt has to be a right
Certain
size.
length.
It can't be below your. Yeah, it has to be like
What?
a little bit above your. Yes,
They
above
just
your
be coming
knees.
out with shit.
I mean,
But you're
They just
right.
worry about unnecessary stuff.
As a fighter, do you need? I mean, we could go. This is one of my favorite conversations. The Taekwondo uniform, which was stolen from judo and karate, is not the best uniform for performance, to be frank. And if you understand that, then why are we wearing it during competition? Why are we wearing a belt during competition? Is there anyone in the ring that's not a black belt? Why are we wearing a belt? And this is a performance enhancing thing as well. Like it's karate. If you want to remind people what they're watching, I get that, because right now, if you watch Taekwondo, you couldn't tell what it was. But you need a belt maybe, and you go, oh, this must be some sort of martial art. They're wearing a black belt. Well, it doesn't look like a martial art, but they're wearing a black belt, so it must be a martial art. Is it karate? No, it's not judo because it's not jujitsu because nobody's getting hurt. Oh, it must be that sissy fighting called Olympic Taekwondo. Oh, yeah, let me watch this for 2 seconds before I can
Hey, you missed a
change
lot
to
of stuff in
something
this
more.
gym this
Hold on a
weekend.
second. Let me change. Let me watch it for a few seconds because I can go then watch something more interesting like curling, or or somebody cutting their lawn or grass growing in my backyard. But anyway, it's been a minute or two before I
How
got
about this?
on that.
You're gonna love this, Herb.
Hmm.
So we go to the technical meeting that TJ got yelled at, but that's, but
Oh,
so
did you?
they
Dude,
always
yeah,
TJ
no,
got yelled at.
I love
You are Mr. Jamaica. You are sit
I know,
down
bro.
and don't speak anymore.
I know.
Almost.
Where is your jacket and tie? And
You know
why
what
you
makes
come
me
here?
you know what makes me
Where's the
mad about that?
coach? You an athlete? With that haircut, you must be an athlete. Oh,
This
you
guy
not
ain't even Korean.
athlete. Where?
He
Let me
ain't
see your
even Korean.
credential. What?
He ain't
He
even
wasn't
Korean. He's not
Korean?
even
Was
no
it
hell.
Philippe? Was it
Nah.
Philippe? Was it Philippe Bordeaux, the Bordeaux wine guy,
I
the dumbest guy in
No,
Taekwondo? It was next to his friend Jay Warwick, the second dumbest.
no.
yeah, no,
That,
no,
that,
go ahead. You
Oh,
talk about
did I say both of those things out loud? I saw those
no.
two
So,
clowns sitting next to each other at the technical meeting. Jay just happy to be there, so he
oh,
doesn't have to be at home.
oh,
And
okay.
Philippe hasn't found a plane ticket yet that he doesn't like. I
Oh,
don't.
let
He
me.
doesn't must not like French food. But go ahead.
That's funny. Oh, let me go. I'm gonna go now. I gotta go back. So we go to the technical meeting, and of course, everybody kind of they get introduced, and they all say a few things, and like it's so funny because I mean, no offense, but like if you'd have seen the crowd when Mr. Warwick was speaking, like he's making jokes about um one of the vice chair of the technical director is lady, and now she just got named to the games committee chair for the Olympics. So she's going to basically do all stuff. And he's introducing her, and he's like, "So she won't be having to buy her own beer today because I'm sure a lot of people will be buying her beers, so they can, it was just so often, and like everyone's like this, like nobody was like like
Yeah.
it was like he was talking to the good old boys club, but nobody understood it. Like it
Yeah.
was so like offhanded, it was just weird. But
Well,
anyway, so we're talking about the rules, and they always start with like there are no new rules because we had heard that there's new rules. There's no new rules. It's just our interpretation. So fast forward to they're talking about punching Young, and they said there's no punch with the front hand that they'll score. And so we're like, so I said I was like, I don't really understand. Like, look at first of all, I think people they have to learn how to score a punch, but why if I can punch with the backhand and I can kick with the back leg and kick with the front leg. Why can't I punch with the front hand? Now, if you don't want to score it, that's fine. But they're like, oh, we never score punch with the front hand. Where everyone in the place goes like, what?
yeah, like
What? I
never
mean,
ever.
they scored. Like people are freaking out. I'm like, everyone's sitting there going, what? So they said that you can't punch with the front hand anymore. They won't score it. And then they're like,
can you punch with it? Like, are you
And
going to
then
get a
not score.
warning if you punch for it?
No, no, no.
no,
You won't get a
no.
deduction, but they're not supposed to score a front hand punch. So
Can
my
I tell you?
question,
Can I tell you something? If I punch you with my front hand, you'll pray to baby Jesus that I punched you with my backhand. If you hit somebody properly with a front hand, as you guys both know, it's worse because you're catching somebody in mid technique usually, and the power and the impact of it. You'd pray that somebody hit me with their
so
backhand.
But just the fact that they said we're not
We don't score it
scoring.
anyway. Yeah, yeah.
Again, shut your mouth and let people punch with the front hand. Just don't score it. But they
Yeah.
right.
told us it's not a scoring technique. I'm like, well, why is a front leg kicking then? Why can't I kick with a front leg? Tell me I can't kick with a front leg. It's not a scoring technique. It doesn't have enough power. I mean, it was just such an absurd thing. I mean, they have this rule that you can only so you can do 3 kicks in the air. You can do 3 kicks on the body without putting it down. You do 4, you get a deduction. But if I have a card, and let's say I go like this, pap, 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 okay, 3, that should be 9 points. And I can video replay it, but I can only ask for 2. So I was like, I go, can I kick for 3? They're like, yes. I'm like, so if I kick you in the face 3 times, why can't I ask for those 3 points, which would be 9? They're like, I was like, it's a good one. I'm like, good one? It should be obvious. Like it's not
That made no
illegal.
sense. even with the front hand punch thing, my question
Uh,
was, so you're telling us, the coaches, that you're not going to score front hand punches, and the referees aren't supposed to score front hand punches. And
Oh yes.
my question was, all right, we're in the finals, we're in the quarterfinals, whatever round, and at the end of the round, some guy goes front hand punch, and they're tied 8-8, and this front hand punch makes it 9-8. Can I, as a coach, can I card and be like, hey, they shouldn't score? Then the answer to my question was no. So I'm going, wait, so you just said we can't score front hand punches. You're not going to score them, but someone could win a match by doing something you said you're not going to score, and I can't do anything about it. And it was, oh, well, there's some things we can't do with the card. I'm like, well, that's dumb, because we already interject with punches. You know what I mean?
is that when you got yelled at?
Yeah, I was told,
Before that,
a little bit
after
before,
that,
why do you always talk when people are talking? And I'm like, I was like, this is the first time I've said anything. And when I say anything, I've said through so many technical meetings. I mean, so many technical meetings. I've just sat in the back. I've never said anything. I've been respectful. I know my goddamn mouth. And I say things. He looks at me and goes, why do you like to talk when people are talking?
Who was it?
Lost my mind. What's his name?
Who was the guy?
What's his name, Coach?
Mohammed Shaban. He's the technical.
I wanted to
chair.
lose my mind. I'm just like, dude.
Well,
No. So what happened was the room was starting to get a little crazy, and this one Russian kid was like, "Blah, blah, blah, blah," and the guy's like, "Hey, let everyone." And so also we start getting in again. Other people are kind of talking.
Everybody is talking
And
shit.
so TJ goes, "But I can't." But if the guy's like, he's like, and TJ's behind me. I just feel TJ's rage going on. I know he's so pissed because I was like,
bro,
That's
it's
why.
gotta be wild.
Man.
It's either that or the fact that maybe he views me as a younger
You
coach
are
or something
you
like
are
that.
the only time he
Bro.
sees people in his country that look like you, they're serving him tea. Let me be
Bro,
clear,
I
dude.
was like,
it is what it is.
confused. I'm like, dude,
It's-
I've said
Yeah.
so many fucking things, never opened my mouth one time.
Listen,
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I was head of team, and Coach Moreno was there as coach, I believe. And we're in a room, and this is when they were talking about punching, and they're talking about how they're going to score punching. So I raise my hand and I say, "Do you understand that in the history of Taekwondo up to now, there hasn't been a point scored for punching in the history of the sport? So what you're saying is, on your rule books, there's a rule that says you can score punching, but there's not a man in the world that does Taekwondo that can punch hard enough to score points. So we're all a bunch of sissies. What you're saying is we black belts and black belts that teach it, and ninth degree black belts, can't teach or execute a proper punch enough. Meanwhile, I've personally punched guys in the chest where they had to pull my hand out of his chest. They don't score it. The guy's laying on the floor and they don't count. He can't breathe, but that's not a
Well,
point.
not so punching has become a big part of the sport. Unfortunately,
Huge.
bad punches. Bad
Oh,
punches.
yeah.
So we
They're
go
not
So
punches.
we go to
They're-
this tournament. Guys.
They're
there's some
bitch
good ones.
slaps. They're bitch slaps. Ay-ya!
No, some of them are good. It's not that. Some of them punch me. Some of them are pretty heavy landed punches, but like
But
it's
they
so
didn't score at the
subjective.
time.
They don't score anything.
Yeah.
And then it's crazy because then you get to the semis and the finals where everybody's watching one ring and the crowds are louder, and now all of a sudden we're scoring punches. You know what I mean? And these are
And
dictating the
and
fight.
and to TJ's point, sure as shit, CJ's fighting in the final with the Korea, and the guy comes in, front hand punch, point. So I said that to the technical director. I'm like, no front hand punches. So just craziness on that
And
kind
it's
of
just the fact
standpoint.
they
I
say
mean,
in the media like our referees would never score a front hand punch. Never. They have never and will never. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's a
and look
silly
what
thing.
happens.
It's a silly thing.
Yeah, I mean, overall, like there was some good young people there, young that came out that we didn't. That's what these Grand Prix challenges are supposed to be for. They're a pseudo open. It's not 100% open, but you get a lot of people. Like Russia brought people that I had never seen before. Chinese Taipei brought a bunch of young ones, and some were good and some weren't good. I mean, I think overall, the United States, we had some people that shouldn't have been there. But I think there's a couple other countries that probably had
What do
some of those.
you mean people other than staff? Like you're not talking about the
Oh
staff.
no, I was talking about athletes. I mean, there's
the
some athletes
athletes.
that probably weren't ready for that level. Now,
Uh,
you want to go on that staffing. I mean, I always got a pet peeve because I believe that some of these athletes should be compensated and helped with stuff. And there was some situations where there was training set for a certain time in a certain place. Athletes were told they go there and no one's there. The staff's not there, no one's there, and these kids are just sitting there by themselves. I have a problem when I see, people on the floor there taking pictures or commentating at the end of the night in the finals and doing nothing else. But they got their way paid for, their hotel paid for, their food paid for, and who knows whatever else. Meanwhile, you have national team athletes that had to foot their own bill, pay their own airfare, hotel, and food, and blah blah blah. And it's kind of BS, man. It's the same old. I know you get on it a lot, talking about people with, flights and stuff like that. But in these kind of cases, when I see those people there, it bothers me. It bothers
Listen,
me. Hurts me.
The Olympic Committee, one of my favorite presidents and other people, they had two sayings, and they were great sayings. So if you're going to serve an organization as a volunteer, and this was John Ruger, who was the athlete's ombudsman, he said, ask yourself one question. When you choose to serve or you're asking for a position, does the organization benefit more than you, or do you benefit more? And he says, if it's the first, then you should do it. If it's the second, you shouldn't. And then
that's
the other, that's a great one, right? That's the way you should look at service. The second one, and you have something to offer and you're going to add value. My son's school, my daughter's school, I volunteered. They put me on a committee where I have nothing to value. And so at the end of the year, I said, thank you for this opportunity. This is not where I can benefit the school the most. I didn't get any benefit, but by the same token, I didn't add any value. So let somebody else do the job. In the second one was Sandy Baldwin, who was the president of the USOC. And she said to me, we have board members who have never met a plane ticket they didn't like. And that was classic, right? You have a lot of people in the organization, both in USA Taekwondo and at the WT or whatever it's called these days, that haven't met a plane ticket they didn't like. So most of them are bored in their life. They don't like what's going on. They don't add any value. But as soon as that plane ticket shows up, it becomes a value. I pride myself on one thing. I don't take plane tickets. I don't need trips. I've been to enough countries. If somebody sends me a plane ticket, it's because I add value and I'm going there to help. And if they need me to help, I come to help. Now, by the same token, if I don't think I can help, like I was called to help the New York bid when we were bidding for the Olympics. I was called to help the San Francisco bid. I went to Singapore to help the New York bid. When I went there, I was called by Dr. Schiller, and they asked me to come, and I went because I added value. And if I couldn't add value, then I don't need to go to Singapore. You can see everything. You can do everything you want to do in Singapore in a day, but it's a long trip. Yeah.
Now that you bring this up, it's funny because I'm picking on a little nitpicking, but like even there's a media guy. He's from Mexico. He's a national team athlete, but his name is Chapa Perez, and he has a very he does a lot of broadcasting. He has a podcast. He's been around everywhere, right? TJ, he's at World Championships, he's everywhere. Supposedly, he requested a media credential for this event. And again, I don't know all the details, but what I know is he got denied by WT and USAT. And I was like, that's shame on them. But then meanwhile, they have this. I don't think the venue was that good for a Grand Prix challenge. I didn't think it wasn't sexy enough. They just did the bare minimum stuff. But so we have these bleacher seating that were hard as hell. But in the middle of that, they have this big section off for the VIPs, and they got cushions on the seats. And I'm sitting there on the outside like everybody else, and lo and behold, I see a bunch of people come in with credentials. Now, it was hard to get credentials, but I don't know where these people got credentials. They were there. They're Americans. They're Asian Americans. And here they come filing all lined up. And so I'm like, how do these guys get that stuff when maybe other people that should, we talked about it earlier. Someone is like, they could have easily asked the Olympians to come. They could have easier to try to hey, this is our showcase to the world. Let's because I know when
I keep checking my text messages. I get more respect outside my sport than I do inside my sport. USA Taekwondo has convenient amnesia. They forgot who built the sport and what athletes fought to win and what athletes fought to do what they do. And they keep ignoring us because they're afraid of us. And that's okay. But the ones that are quiet and complicit, I don't want to mention any names, Lynette Love, Sharon Jewell. Did I say those out loud? they bring those docile ones in because they go along with the program. They're like, what can I do, boss? Where do I go? Where do you want me to sit? Oh yeah, I'm an Olympian. Oh, wait a minute. You want to honor these guys who haven't done anything other than go to the Olympics? Oh, show me where they are. Oh, that's a nice fur jacket you're wearing, Mister Whatever your name is. Oh, what did you do at the last Olympics? Oh, you showed up. Oh, congratulations. Well, I actually won. And in Sharon's case, I think she was a bronze medalist. And by the way, Lynette was a gold medalist. But let's count down to the
But none
future
of them,
that hasn't
but
done
none of them were
anything.
there. None of them were there. And again, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not even saying it from a personal level on you, but they just, I don't know, maybe they were asked, maybe they weren't. Again, when these things happen in our country, like, look, you guys got money to do all this other stuff, but you can't make the place look
You
awesome.
you
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 guys
can
have money.
hate or love him, and you can hate and love him in different and equal parts. But one of the things I will say is this: Sang Lee taught me a few things, and also taught me a lot of things not to do. But one of the things that he did say, which was true, he says, "How you treat your juniors, how you treat your seniors, is how your juniors will treat you." So the way you
Yeah.
treat your parents is the way your children will teach you. How you treat your seniors in Taekwondo. So good on USA Taekwondo. They've got the dumbest and the dumber in the room, the guys who haven't done anything, and even the guys who have been to the dance. I won't mention his name. He got knocked out and got a bronze medal in some tournaments. So that's what you honor and respect, I guess. What, because they kowtow and fetch it? I mean, I don't know. I
Maybe.
mean, what happened to here's the better question. May he rest in peace. What did they do with Jimmy Kim? Now they loved Jimmy. There wasn't a person in the world who didn't love Jimmy except USA Taekwondo. Jimmy Kim was loved by all. Jimmy Kim, great athlete. Jimmy Kim, gold medalist. Jimmy Kim, successful heavyweight, most successful heavyweight. What did they do with Jimmy? So why would we expect anything different from us?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is. And let me say it now so it's been said. A lot of times in life, the people who exclude you from the room exclude you to cast shade because they know if you come in, you're going to diminish their value. If you're in a room, Moreno or TJ or anyone else, you diminish their value. Who's listening to Sherman, whatever his last name is today? Who's listening to Jay Poos? Who's listening to be honest, Jay Warwick? Nobody's listening to these guys if
It's
different
true.
people in the room. So what you do, you close the door. I don't close the door in my life. I open the door. I want the biggest and the best and the brightest in my life because through that affiliation, through the closeness, through proximity, comes knowledge. And some people would say power. I say knowledge. So in that situation, I get why they're afraid. You should be afraid. You're dumber than a rock. You should be afraid. You've messed up the sport. Be afraid. But
Yeah.
that's up to you. Your loss. What was the last Olympic tournament results? How's that going for you? So keep doing what you're doing because you're perfectly engineered for the lack of success you're currently experiencing.
CJ, did you see that clip of that Korean kid, 58 Korean kid fight with the Turkish kid? What did you think about that?
I don't. First of all, I don't like how everybody is hyping it up. Like I think it's a little silly and it's a little overdrawn. But also, if you watch the video, This it was a Turkish kid, right? It was Turkey.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
kid, like again, it's going on. Something's happening. He's trying to point across the room to tell the referee to stop. The referee doesn't stop to go out of the ring. He kind of throws one more kick and like hits him in the butt. But if you watch the video, when the Korean boy turns around, he puts his hand up like, "Oh, my bad." Watch the
yeah.
video. He tries to
I
like
saw.
diffuse the situation. And then this kid goes on to score a bunch of points, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? The kid's great. The kid's good. You know what I mean?
He's a world champion.
He's a world champion. He scores a bunch of body points, da, 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 da. And it was like, oh, this other kid's so disrespectful, yada, yada, yada. And I'm going, my problem with that is, I'm going to say if the roles were reversed and it was you switched it around, it'd be like, oh, this kid was trying to be respectful. He didn't see him say this, blah, blah, blah. But like, it's a fighting sport. Let them do what they got to do, but don't like say like this
No,
kid's disrespectful,
no.
you know?
So Young, what happened? You hear what happened? The guy went out of bounds, like he's fighting, and he literally like kicks
Like
him
a
a
little
little
tap.
bit, a
Yeah.
little tap in the butt, and then the Korean kid like kind of jumped. They kind of got in the face, and TJ's right. When he did it, he went like this, and they kind of got face to face, and like he said, the guy goes and beats him pretty bad. But TJ at the end, I I like this. At the end, the guy is like down on his like hands and knees, kind of like squinting down. And the Korean kid came over and put his like arm like like his shoulder like that, and the Turkish kid was like pushed him off, like get away from me. And I was kind of like, I actually I think we need a little bit of that kind of stuff in the sport. I mean, if they got a little rivalry, let it be a rivalry. Let them go and duke it out. But like the Turkish kid didn't want any part of it. Like after he just got whooped, this guy coming over like to kind of big boy him, like, hey, good, it was okay. And he was like, man, get off me. And I was like, oh. So he
Yeah,
kind of kept it going, afterwards. But I thought that was pretty funny.
Did you
that
ever
was
do that
fun.
though? I mean, when we were fighting, I can remember beating guys pretty bad, and I never went over and tapped them on the shoulder. I always respected my fighter in the sense of like, it's a match. I'll shake your hand. I'll put my hand on your back as I'm walking by, but I'm not going to treat you like a child. You're a
Yeah.
great competitor, and I was fortunate enough to have a good day today. And I never took it. I never took it. I didn't really. I mean, internally, I took it personally, all of it, but I never demonstrated. You'd be
Yeah.
hard pressed to find a match, and you watch me fight where I
I did.
celebrated or I complained. I didn't really do anything. I just let the ref be the match, and that was something I learned from
Yeah.
Sifu Vizio.
From all that talking you do now, it's true. You
Yeah.
did. You no. I mean, I can say that when you won, you were like going like this, and when you
No.
lost, you just, And I know you had some. I know you had some people you didn't like, and so now
Oh
that
yeah.
you say that, you saved up all that energy to talk now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And now that's why I'm talking. Back then, I would just bow, leave the ring, come in, go out, and people mistook that. They're like, "Man, he's really mean." I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
I got business
That was
to do,
also
man."
that was a
I
lot,
got,
but you know what? Truth to be told, not many people did kind of crazy cheers and stuff like that. Everyone's a little bit more stoic. There wasn't too many
I
people
think
jumping around.
so. Yeah, I think so. I think there were a handful of. I think it started to change, like guys celebrating. Like, well, I didn't even do that. Like, you'd see guys celebrate points, right? They'd raise their hand when they
Mhm.
scored. I never did that even. I just fought. I was like too busy fighting to like do all of that. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just like, it
Yeah,
just wasn't my, you know,
yeah,
I mean, my son's kind of like that when he plays soccer. He scores a goal, he just walks out, he just goes back to the line, right? Doesn't run over
yeah.
and
Michael,
slide, doesn't do the
Michael.
dance, whatever.
So,
Yeah.
TJ, let's talk about a little bit about the camp that we're having right now.
Oh yeah, so we've been going since Monday, right? One on
Yep.
Monday and then two almost every day since. I you know what, this has been it's a good feeling for me to have this many people in the gym this early and like being able to kind of make these guys comfortable. And I mean, I think everyone's been training hard, but I saw this post earlier today about like collaboration and competition and how if you unravel competition, it's really collaboration because you want to work with people, you want to be in a room with people who challenge you, people who are just as tough as you, just as skilled, even more skilled than you. And I think this week we've done a great job of putting a good group of people together, and I think we've done some great things. We did some match fights yesterday, which were awesome, and I wish the Grand Master of Disaster would show up to one of these workouts because you'll see once the coaches get everybody um, wrangled in and we kind of let them understand like what the purpose of the training is and why we're doing what we're doing and what how we're fighting and how you'll see some good taekwondo, you'll see some good work, you'll see some energy,
So
it's been a good time for me.
my email address for the tickets, for the plane
Oh,
tickets
yeah, that's
are,
good.
yeah, yeah. I remember that thing I said about tickets. So if you
Mhm.
want me to come to North Carolina, I'm more than willing to come. I know you have too much taekwondo knowledge. You don't need me to do a seminar, but if you want to send that free plane ticket, let me know and just
No,
do it
but
on
but you
United
know,
so I can upgrade.
Young, I mean, really, this was a. So I mean, it started. I kind of coordinated it. Of course, TJ was able to host it, but like it started with Brazil's. They were like, "Hey, we're going to be here. Can we stay for a camp?" And so when TJ's business came together, it was like kind of like a perfect storm. And then we literally handpicked people to come. And you know what? I mean, talk about collaboration. Last night when I was coming home with the guys, we went and had some Korean food, and I said, I go, there's got to be a way to do this more often. I mean, the coaches are all hands on. We're all there. No one's talking over anybody. The athletes are all like. I mean, we set the tone early. I said, listen, I didn't want
I
this to be
wasn't
a
there, so nobody was talking or anybody. That's why.
I'm talking about the people that were there. Nobody. I talked to everyone. I said, listen, I didn't really want it high intensity. I wanted it to be kind of a learning, training environment. And watching these people do, we're not kicking too many targets. Everything is body drills and kind of situation drills. And here's how you can score points. And just to see them work with each other, I mean, it's been really fun for me. This is exactly what I envision when I think about development. And there's some kids that have been to world. We have an Olympian there. I mean, we have some good, quality people, and we have some scrappers, some people that
Well,
haven't
well,
been
you,
on
you
national
you
teams.
recreated. So, I mean, one of the things that I liked about what you've done over your lifetime, and it's generated energy down through your juniors and colleagues. You know, when we started together back in the day, and we did those camps together, one of the things you'll notice in those camps were we taught sessions. We each taught sessions, or we learned from each other. So I sit quietly. We had Pedro Xavier there. We had
Hmm.
Christine Banyan Rodriguez. So we let them teach. We watched them fight. They fought with us. There's videotapes of us fighting all those cats and you. And one of the things that I think that we were always good at is we were willing to learn from anyone. We went and learned from the
Yeah.
best in Korea back then. We went to other countries and watched them train. We trained in other countries. We went to Chinese Taipei. We went around and we were always in the room willing to learn and give people time and listen and just be quiet to listen. And I think that is speaks volumes to your credit. I'm not blowing any smoke up your Sunday skirt that you wear when nobody else is watching. But sorry, I didn't want to out you. So it goes with that TJ shirt, Jamaica man.
Button your
You
blouse.
want
Button your,
one
can you button your
one
blouse. You
what
button your blouse,
what
please. Thank you.
Calm down, baby. Hold on. So that's good. That's we're gonna have to rate the YouTube
Rate
now.
it.
Hold on. Calm down, baby. So one of the things that I think that you've always done is you've reincarnated your method, your training method, but more importantly, your training dynamic. So you created a performance model that encourages participation and encourages inclusion. And when you do that, you open the doors to new ideas, you open the doors to innovation, and you open the door to creative energies that come through cognitive dissonance. And that's when two different waves come together, and what they create is something new, better, and bigger or different. And we talk a lot about this with Leon Preston in our thing, something we're working on. And I think you've done a great job of that. So, like, yeah, I'd love to be in the room to watch you guys do what you do.
You would enjoy it.
Yeah,
You
I
would
don't have much
appreciate it.
to add to
You really
that
would.
conversation. I'm still like, even with my guys, when I'm preparing my guys now, the nationals, I think, is somewhere down here. So a couple of my kids are going to go and fight. And so I don't train them in what you guys are doing. You come in, coach, and you train them. I train them on what I do. I'm like, here's basic strategy. Here's basic motion. Here's what you have to do in order to be effective without telegraphing and everything like that. But to be in a room where everything else is happening and understand it, because I think
Yeah.
that's where creativity comes. And I don't, you hear me talk a lot about soccer, and I have a lot of conversations with my son about soccer because he's doing soccer. I got to tell you something. Right now, what I'm talking about applies to soccer too. Soccer is not that hard. Soccer is hard as a sport, but strategy wise, soccer is about intention, explosiveness, deception. That's it. You get the ball, explosive. You get the ball moving without a telegraph. You get the ball, you telegraph, or you feint in order to get by somebody. That's it. Now, that doesn't change whether it's taekwondo. It's in basketball. You take the ball, you look this way, you pass the ball this way, you act this way, you dip your shoulder, you go another way. So every sport, the fundamental tenets of strategy are present. The
Yeah.
mechanism of the sport changes it. Now, the front hand punch, I mean, it would be interesting. The dumbest committee I ever served on in my entire life was the World Taekwondo Federation Technical Committee. I don't think there were dumber people in the room with the exception of two, Dr. Kapner and I. We had to hold their hands and explain to them what to score, why, and how, and why they shouldn't be certain things. And the second dumbest guy in the room, for a bright guy, was Yang Jimban. This idiot couldn't understand the dynamic between pushing and holding. And it's really not that hard. You get two kids in a schoolyard, let one push, the other one's going to hold. Let one hold, the other one's going to push. It's a yin and a yang thing. And especially since he comes from the Asian culture, you'd think he'd understand it. But you get the technical committee. That's why I laugh at the guy yelling at you. That's a guy that doesn't understand Taekwondo. That's not a high level competitor. That's some guy that learned watered down Taekwondo in some backwater country where he probably wore a karate uniform and did the Pyongan forms from Shotokan as Taekwondo.
Nah, this
So
guy's a little younger. He fought and stuff,
Yeah.
but I mean,
did he
no,
fight?
but for me, Yeah, he did.
That's irrelevant. It's
Yeah.
just a respect.
Well, that's why he
thing.
yelled at
Yeah,
you, because he thought it was
It's
you were
just a
better.
respect thing, though. It's just a
No,
respect thing.
no,
Like, you
but-
don't. That's silly.
I
That's silly.
cannot respect to you with that Jamaica T-shirt. No.
No, but you got off on a tangent. I
Yeah,
was
you-
talking about the camp itself.
Of
The camp
course, I
itself was
got
great.
off on a tangent. This is the Warehouse 15.
No, but I'm just
Where's
saying,
your
like,
clock, TJ?
I got.
but
You know,
I
I gotta
would
put
say-
one in my office. I'm gonna put one in my office for you.
I got one last thing, and I will stop talking. How did
I won't
you
stop
get?
talking.
How did you get ICE to let you in that room do a
Jesus.
podcast? That's all I want to know. They usually don't even give you a phone call. And when are you getting on the
them to your
plane?
house. I sent them to
When
your
do you
house.
get? Don't send them to my house.
your
My
house.
last name is Perez.
Oh,
They're
you
not going to
guys
want.
are-
I'll show them a passport. They'll still put me on a plane.
Hey, oh
What
my
are you
God.
laughing about, Moreno? You next.
that's not-
No,
I go on.
made a-
Yeah, I go. You're going too. I'm going to go in and get my friend. Get Juan Moreno.
I got my passport. You think I'm joking?
Yeah,
I'm
I think that's
joking.
the coolest thing though about this weekend. It was like kind of preaching intention, like intention in training, intention in purpose, intention in the drills more so. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes in this grand scheme of things, where I think a lot of the world has glorified the "Ah, ah, 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 ooh, ah, ah," and everybody's like, "Oh my God, it's so amazing," and I'm like,
That's where I was going with this.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
No,
Yeah,
go. Continue.
Yeah, you know, we've glorified this like go fast, kick hard. I come from an era where we went fast and we kicked hard and we did all this stuff. But also we did a lot of slow training, a lot of like purposeful things. Put your foot here, land this way, stand this way, recover this way. And I think I think I enjoyed these last couple of days so far. I think I spent a lot of time in my gym with my guys doing those kind of things, trying to listen. We got to do it at half speed before we can do it at full speed. We got to do it in the gym and be successful. We can go and do it out of the gym. And like I think that was the thing that we were able to kind of come together and work towards, like the intention of everything that we do.
And it was young. What was nice is like, again, in this day and age, everybody puts stuff on social media. They're jumping off boxes. They're doing this. Everyone's trying to do this fancy stuff that's going to maybe make you more physical. But when it comes down to, and you are epitome of this, scoring points when they need to be scored at the right time, the right moment, blah, blah, blah. And I think this was what we did here. And you had a Brazilian, input, you had TJ's input, you had my input, you had different ideas, and nothing was fast, nothing was hard. There was nothing groundbreaking where you were like, I never thought about jumping off a box and moving forward and going that way. It was a time to learn. It was a time to exchange. And what I say, TJ, I said, I wanted this to be low intensity with a lot of interaction. And that's exactly what we've had. And that's where I was going with this with you, Young. I think you would have appreciated seeing these coaches give their idea. And like sometimes a guy would explain it and then I would say, do you want it like this? He's like, yes, they missed this detail. And then TJ would go and show exactly what the hell is that?
That's my lighter. It's electric.
Oh my God,
Why you get distracted?
Woogie. Because that's like the minute black man. He's like trying to make you forget what you said so he can talk some more.
No, I appreciate.
You are on the podcast, shut
I'm hearing what he's saying. I'm not.
But listen, I just said it was a great camp. We had, hey, and guess what? Oh my God.
There had to be one this episode, right? It couldn't have. I'll go with this one. I wish our audio works. I kind of like this song.
Oh, it's a great song. Oh, you can't hear the audio? Oh,
Never can hear what you put up.
I hate when that happens. But no, that's my other note to script.
I've had a lot of help this week, and like it's funny. I know you guys have known. I've just gotten to this gym, and I mean, like if I could, the epitome of a team effort is crazy. Like I've had so much parent support, so much.
How many members do you have now?
I think I'm up to like 15, 16, which is not that bad. I've actually been getting some good traction and people coming in. I got a couple first time people coming in. I got some people coming in for their second one. So we're moving, we're busting.
We're gonna figure out a way to promote what you're doing down there. And I just want to ask just one follow-up question. Do they pay you in chicken, in rice, or what do they pay you in? They pay you in, like, are they paying you in dollars?
What's rice? Right. Oh, because country people, I get it.
Gumbo. But no. On a serious note, hold on. I want to get you members. So I'm going to call upon those 15 members each. Play this podcast for them, not the little kids, obviously, and tell them, just do me one favor.
What's that?
Bring one member. Bring one other member.
No,
other member with more than 4 teeth. One other member. Just one other member. And then you'll have 30. By the end of this podcast, By the end of this year's podcast, I want you to have 150 members. So if
That'd
you
be
do
amazing.
15 to 30, 30 gets you to 60, 60 gets you to 120. So just one referral each. Tell me the name. How many of those members do you know by name?
All of them.
15, you should. All right. Anyway, we got to get you some more members. We got to get you some more members because
but this has been it's been cool.
obviously not hard enough. You got to open up. I opened with 60 when I opened my first school. You got to get out. Are you flyering? Are you going out there and doing the work?
Nah, I'm just sitting in here.
You're afraid to knock on doors down there. I know.
Nah.
Listen, get some flyers. Get in your car. Make sure you put a truce flag on it, and then go and knock on some doors, and introduce yourself. And Coach knows this. When I opened my first school, I literally took flyers. I walked through the neighborhoods, put them on doors, knocked on doors, and talked to people. I opened my first school with 60 pre-members, pre-signups, and within 5 months, I had my year goal. Within 1 year, I had my 3-year goal, and I ended before COVID with 850 members. So you got to knock on those doors, TJ. Get out. You look good.
Yeah, no, we're doing.
Put a different
advertising
T-shirt
and stuff.
on. Get out and knock on doors. Get that T-shirt off. Put on a real shirt. Borrow one from Moreno. He's got a nice sweater vest on or something.
I'm about to travel. I'm about to get home.
You travel, by the way, just so people know. You travel dressed more nicely and professionally than I do to go to a meeting. I have never seen somebody. You comb your hair, you get nice cologne on, you got a nice shirt, nice pair of pants. They fit nice. You got nice shoes, nice socks in case you take your shoes. Look at this.
Stretchy,
I thought you had one more. I thought you had one more practice you were going to.
We do. It's at 3:00. I'm about to go to it, man. I'm gonna
all
go
right,
and
all
get
right,
it
all right.
started.
Just checking. But anyway, if you
TJ,
guys
I gotta
ever
find
want to
out.
invite or get a seminar from Coach Moreno, just make sure that if you put him in the Motel 6, it has an outlet for his hair dryer.
It's true. I need one. But hey, their people, man, they were so nice. Like they had water for us. They had shit like granola bars, juice, vegetables. They provided a whole spread of food yesterday. Meat, chicken, pork, rice, fruit, vegetables. Bro,
Was
like
the chicken
real-
poached or fried?
Nah,
It was fried.
delicious.
It was
It
fried.
was delicious. No, it wasn't fried. It was delicious.
What's
But yeah, no, I
was
appreciate it
amazing.
because
Coach
the
Moreno.
team effort is huge. He's so stupid. It's
It was great. I'm trying to be nice, and you're like trying to be.
He can't. He won't let me. He won't let me just be nice. I can't just be nice.
Man.
I'm gonna end it with this. That I appreciate the collaboration from obviously my home parents and my home guys I work with. I appreciate the collaboration from all the other coaches. The willingness to stay here and work and allow us to work with their athletes. I mean, it makes me excited and excited for the future. And hopefully, I'll live up to this guy's legend. I'll have like 9,000
Yo,
members in
Perez,
a year.
Yo,
Perez, you should be happy, bro. You should be happy.
what are you talking? I am
We helped
happy.
No, you're not. We helped your people, man. We even have the Puerto Ricans here, man. Got 2 coaches,
Oh.
their national team. Man, we're treating them good, man. You're over there talking shit, man.
I didn't talk anything about
on.
Puerto Rico.
Right.
Listen, you got to set them free. Set my Boricua brothers free. So right now, I went to a soccer thing. Otherwise, I was supposed to play in the Cuban Kitchen, that restaurant I took you to. And I was supposed to play Cuban music. So I'm working on a trio, trying to find somebody, a man or a woman who can sing traditional Cuban or Puerto Rican songs, so Spanish songs. I'm going to play guitar, and I'm going to get a conga player, and we're going to do this at the Cuban Kitchen. So it's going to be, you guys can see me, a little of my ethnic background coming out. And then I'm going to invite TJ with his Jamaican shirt. I'm not sure. So, Rasta man.
I've never been hated on so much. This guy loves me every time.
I love that. I love that. I love that
If
cover.
my arms in my
TJ,
sleeves
TJ.
or my arms out. If my wall is blank
TJ.
or I got
Moreno had a
Guys all
mission
over
that
the
he
place.
did not accomplish. Moreno had a mission, and apparently either he accomplished it because there's nothing behind you, or he didn't. He had a mission.
He gave me Mission Impossible if I chose to accept. It was.
He's gonna try to steal my pictures.
He wanted me.
And
I
I-
was like, I was
That's
gonna go
funny.
and take a picture. If we went to, I thought we were gonna have dinner at your house for some reason.
Mm.
The cook- But I was gonna go in their room and take a picture of myself like that and send it to Herb. And he's like, "Oh man, that was
Well, now you know where you stand with TJ. There are no Mexicans invited to his house. I
Nah,
can't.
it was
You've
like
been to my house.
60
You've been to
plus
my house.
people. Don't do
60,
that.
just one. You don't have to take them all. You guys could have snuck out the back. When I got to go, so I sneak out the back. But just two things left before we go. One, don't order sushi or fish in a country or in a place where they don't have an ocean next to you. So if there's not a beach, don't order fish. Number
I learned
two,
that in Colorado.
I don't know why you guys would think you could buy Korean food in North Carolina. So
There's some decent spots. It wasn't that great, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. The bulgogi wasn't so good. It was mid.
It wasn't
Mid
good.
at best.
It was one of those. I don't know how to pronounce, like nouveau Korean place. Like they had like, bro. So you know
The
the
fusion, whatever you want to call it.
no, what is it called? The pancake.
it's
Pajeon.
Pajeon. Yeah.
Pajeon.
Haemu
So they had the
Pajeon.
pajeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the pajeon come out. It was a waffle.
What?
It was a real legit waffle.
Somebody should slap that Ajima right in the head. You can't bake a waffle pajeon. You got to kidding me.
It tasted the same, but it tasted the same, but it looked like a damn waffle. I was like, what is this?
My Korean ancestors are turning in their grave. I know you guys don't know that I'm part Korean, but that's
You are?
You didn't know that? No, of course not. People used to think so. They
know.
thought something about my eyes. The guy Jay Warwick asked me that. He said, "Are you part Korean?" I'm like, "What? Which part of Perez would give you that idea?" But I listen. I got to give Jay one thing. He did teach me something about Taekwondo. He said when I first made the team, he said most people watch Taekwondo. This was a Jay thing. They watch it from the top down. So they watch what the kick does and whatever. You should be watching Taekwondo from the foot, from the bottom, the stepping, because the positioning is what creates the opportunities for kicks. And that's Jay. I got to give him credit for that. So I thought that was a good thing that he did. Since then, it's been pretty much a downhill spiral.
How long were we doing this podcast? And this guy just gave one compliment to him.
Just
Damn,
one.
That was tough for him.
No.
TJ, we're healing people.
I'm giving you one. I told Jay when he took the job, I said, as long as you don't, he said, I hear that people are saying that you're saying bad things about me. I said, I warned you. I said, when you took the job, you had an obligation to fix it. And if you're taking it as a volunteer, you have an obligation to fix it. The moment you take a paycheck, you become part of the problem. And sure enough, he took the plane tickets and paychecks. And you were there when I had that conversation with him because it was at a friend of ours' memorial. And sure enough, he loves the plane tickets and I guarantee you he didn't make a donation to USA Taekwondo. Check the rosters. He's taking the plane tickets though. He's taking the plane tickets and the bottles of kimchi.
Let's end this with Dado 3 down.
Dado 3 down. Thumbs down. Let me see. Does it? It only does thumbs up. Let me see if it does thumbs up.
Hey, shout out to Mark from Canada with those things. I mean, he was sending me little pictures and stuff and videos. So, and I know he listens to our podcast. So thanks a lot. And
we should have shared those. We should have. All right. And as you know, we're going to get out of here because it's been a minute or so. I want you to go to the GoFundMe page to get TJ a new shirt. So we'll be having a GoFundMe, and I can guarantee you it won't be green and lemon yellow with a tiger or a puma on it. Nobody in the world's got Puma anymore. I didn't even know Puma was still in business. So that must be from the 70s. So, but this is the Warehouse 15 and we are out. I'm going to press stop.